on, you are at the center of a lot of attention right now. There's been a characterization of your response to the attempted assassination of Trump as being unhinged or a manic episode. What is your best explanation for why the way you've responded actually makes sense?
I think that the discourse in the United States has gotten so unbelievably out of whack in that the amount of moral condemnation that we have for certain types of messages is not at all mapping onto the amount of damage a particular idea or thing is doing. I don't know how it has happened. This is like a recent idea.
Okay, so like, how about this? The message that you send by not having empathy for someone who died is morally condemnable. Right? Like, it's just... I feel like he's contradicting
I spent a lot of time
himself.
recently thinking about it, but somehow conservatives have managed to escape almost all accountability for their actions. But for some reason, liberals have to, fall to their knees and grovel and beg for forgiveness every single time something happens that might possibly be related to them. You'll see liberals, begging and pleading for forgiveness for the BLM riots, or we've had over the recent few weeks, every single liberal news station is talking about Biden and his senility and his need to step down. And conservatives, when you ask them about anything, like January 6th, that was a false flag. For the governor kidnapping plot, Gretchen Whitmer, that was just the FBI. They wouldn't have done it otherwise. For all the vaccine and the COVID misinformation, it's not misinformation. That's all still true. We just don't trust vaccines anymore. The worlds of these two people are totally divergent. And I think that, unfortunately, I've been involved in this game of treating both similarly, even though I say that they're not of the same magnitude. The problems are the same magnitude. And I think I've given, by the way that I affiliate with or the way that I engage with right-wingers, I think that I've given too much credence to that side in terms of making our...
Well, let me propose this, okay? The way we treat people is not based on whether or not their ideas are stupid. You see, I believe that everyone is divinely created by God and therefore inherently deserving of a baseline of respect, dignity, love, and kindness, regardless of whether or not their opinions are stupid. And so even though I think Destiny's opinion, in this case, may be stupid, I'm still going to treat him with the same amount of respect and dignity that God would have me treat every single one of his creations with, even if I think their opinions are stupid, because your opinion is not a qualifier for kindness and dignity. You have that inherently. Now, you may, spit on your own dignity by having a stupid opinion, but I believe that we have to start at the baseline. Everybody is valuable. Everyone deserves a certain amount of respect, regardless of whether or not their opinions are stupid and unhinged. And so, if something horrible were to happen to Destiny, I would have empathy for that. I would be sad that he would experience harm in any way. Why? Because the fundamental belief is not you have value because you agree with the same political ideas as me. It's like, no, you have value because you are a created being loved by God. Whether your opinion is stupid or not doesn't come into that.
Their arguments seem more legitimate than they are. So I am recentering a lot of my rhetoric and a lot of my engagement back to where I think it should have been for a longer period of time, in that these ideas are absolutely unhinged. You guys are in a totally different world, and there needs to start being more cultural accountability for the types of crazy, insane things that you're saying.
Okay, so...
And I don't necessarily have an issue with cultural accountability for crazy and unhinged things. I think the left says a lot of crazy and unhinged things, and there should be some cultural accountability. I also think that conservative Christians have started to say a lot of crazy and unhinged things, mainly because you become what you fight against. And, that's why me on this channel, I want to be known more for what I'm for, not for what I am against. So I'm for treating everyone with love, decently, and kindness and respect, and having consistent morals that apply equally to everyone, regardless if they're an idiot or not. And so you might be an idiot, but if you get shot in a political assassination, I'm still going to be sad for you. I'm still going to regret that happened. Right? Because my morals are not based on whether or not you're an idiot. Would it be a fair characterization
to say that the amplitude of your response is necessary to get people to accurately identify the difference in scope between the ideas that the conservatives are putting forth and getting away with, and the ideas that the liberals are putting forth and being hounded for?
Yeah.
Well, for one, the liberals have been getting away with their stupid ideas for quite a while. And so there's that. That's why the temperature has been turning up so much, is because we just keep seeing them get away with it. And, this is also a matter of perspective. Also, I've had the privilege of meeting Tom Bilyeu twice, and he is a great guy. All right? They say never meet your heroes, but, I met him twice, and it was a fantastic experience every time. So, yeah, I think this guy's great. And also, I don't think Destiny is stupid. I think he's wrong. But the problem is that people who are very, very smart have a higher likelihood of being able to convince themselves that they are right because they are so smart. And so I don't think Destiny's an idiot. I think he's very, very smart. I think he's smart and wrong. which is something you want to be on the lookout for. If you think you're a very, very smart person, the likelihood of you convincing yourself that you are correct when you are wrong goes up. And so we definitely want to be paying attention to that.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I think in a more fair world where the where the amplitude, I guess, of the responses to different behaviors on both sides was more mapped onto what I thought it would be, my response might be a little bit lower. To be clear, also, and I've said this multiple times, like I don't think it's a good thing when people die. I don't want anybody to die. I don't think anybody should kill anybody for political reasons. But to beg for sympathy or to pretend that you deserve sympathy because of violence might have happened at a given event when your side has been driving up the temperature of this country and engaging in the most and celebrating the most divisive politics in like recent U.S. history is inane to me.
So this is very, very important what he said. He said he doesn't believe in violence. He doesn't think anybody should be shot for political reasons. So that's good. But that credit where credit is due. He's not trying to incite violence. He just seems to think that there's a disconnect between condemning the violence and having sympathy for the violence. And apparently he condemns the violence, but doesn't have sympathy because of who the violence was perpetrated against. And so, to be fair, that is slightly less crazy than what we've been seeing with a lot of the libs on TikTok who are just celebrating the fact that someone got shot. And again, what's wrong is wrong regardless of who does it and who it happens to. Right? And so I think as a culture, we should normalize condemning violence regardless of who does it and who it happens to. People fail to call out their own, and it creates this divide that he's trying to talk about. And I think that his opinion is actually feeding into the issues that he's trying to help solve. Because, by choosing who you have sympathy for based on the ideas that they have, you're not really looking at the inherent value and dignity of the human being. At least that's my point of view. So I don't think he's
the way
actually
I try to think through my own life and the way that I encourage other people to think through theirs is what is my goal and what are the actions that I can take that are going to get me to my goal. So when I think of what you've been doing over the last, call it 2 years, you've really made yourself the go-to liberal that people on either side of the spectrum are going to want to engage with. And you really have made, you've been incredibly respectful. You've been very thoughtful. You are extremely good in debating. And so suddenly it felt like we had two sides that could really come together. And the response to the debate that you did with Ben Shapiro on Lex, I think is proof of that. Huge number of views, and we got to see really different vantage points politically coming together to have a fruitful conversation. Then after Corey was killed and your reaction came out that was very inflammatory, I would say, it seemed intentionally inflammatory. I was like, are you now rebranding like what you're trying to put forward? Like I'm done pretending to be civil and nice and this is where I really wanted to be the whole time? Or are you going to renormalize? Like, walk me through the dramatic change in presentation.
So the way that my YouTube editor gave me kind of this idea in that I can have long legs and short arms, or I can have long arms and short legs, that at my most aggressive, I have very short legs but very long arms, meaning that if I get you in my grasp, I'm going to be incredibly compelling because I'm going to be making very strong arguments in the most aggressive manner possible with the most overwhelming style of argumentation. But my legs are very short at that point. I can't get out of my community very much because people just see me as being incredibly aggressive. And they're like, okay, I want to talk to this guy. Like, this guy's way too, he's way too mean and debatey or whatever. I think before I had very long legs but very short arms. And I hate that comment that you just made. It actually has been eating away at my brain for months. And I've complained about this on stream. This has been building for probably for the entire year. If you go and you look at the debates that I've done with Candace Owens, with Jordan Peterson, with Ben Shapiro, the comments under all these videos are the exact same. Wow, what a nice debate. It's so nice that these people have spoken to each other. Wow, cool that we can come together and talk. Wow, what a nice debate. I hate that. Because nobody's actually considering anything that's being said. They're just happy that two people can sit in a room and talk to each other. However,
I think the audio in his video is off. Oh well. Yeah, as long as we still hear what he says. I think the problem is he's mistaking aggressive debating with being mean and unsympathetic. You can be a very aggressive debater and have all of your ducks in a row and get all of the facts out and just gridlock your opponent in logic without being a dick. Right? Like, you don't have to disrespect them and deny the inherent value of the person and be mean to them and not have sympathy for them in order to be an aggressive debater. So I think the way that he's characterizing this is not correct. Being unsympathetic and unempathetic is not the same as being a good debater and being aggressive. And I think you can have long legs and long arms if you're good enough to articulate yourself in a way that is both aggressive but also respectful. I think you can do both. It just requires a lot of skill. And a lot of work. So yeah, I'm not convinced that his take on this is really good. I'm glad he's not outright calling for violence, but he doesn't have any sympathy for people on the right who suffer from violence against them because they have the wrong opinion, and I just don't think that's acceptable. And that's not something that I can. Yeah, that's not something I can condone. And so, if you're wondering who I am, my name's John, and I've actually built out this cool little community where we can actually come and talk and hang out. The link is in the description there. And so, yeah, you guys can come and make posts. This is the only place where I will be accepting direct messages. And so if you have something you want to say to me, you want to direct message me, the link in the description is the only place where you can do so. And with that being said, yeah, I'm just not overly hyped about the way Destiny is doing this. I think he is kind of shooting himself in the foot, and I would advocate that we all continue to put loving and respecting each person first, even if they're stupid, and then build how we communicate off of that, and that'll probably lead to the world being a better place. Anyways, you can check out this video right here, over there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.